and a mouth-watering race in prospect here, with Yomif Kejelcha taking on Selemon Barega, plus others, Cheptegei in there as well, Chalimo from the United States, Gebrhiwet, Belew, talent everywhere here. Good fast pace being asked for. Bram Song's going to try and get them to 2,000 metres. I'm not sure how that's going to work for him. There's Kejelcha. What an indoor season he had over the shorter distances. You know, the mile, 3:47 indoors. It's remarkable, isn't it? Barega, his last race was actually at the World Cross Country Championships. So he hasn't raced outdoors on the track yet this year. He was 5th in that race. And then Cheptegei, well, we know what a great championships it was for the Ugandans in Hagos. Again, what can he do on the track here? Paul Chalimo, Olympic world medalist, Gebrhiwet there. Belew will be a danger as well. So the big men are on the outside lanes, if you like, but depending on how the pace goes, one or two others might fancy the chances as well, but you can't really see past Kejelcha in particular. Yeto, also ran in the World Cross. Just really interesting. The pace, as I said, that's been asked for is 12:55 pace, sub 13 minutes, assuming they keep it going beyond the 3K. Som has been asked to go to 2, then Kipkorir will try and take it on to 3K. But let's just see how that all pans out. Both of them such good finishers as well. Of course, Kejelcha now based in the US. Very different approaches, although they're both from the same country. But he got away nice and sharply off the line, and you saw that meeting record there, just under 13 minutes. So if they do, we know he can do to very, very good effect. So tall Ethiopian just settling down as Som takes them through the first 200 in just outside 30 seconds.
Really looking forward to seeing Kejelcha.
Well, he's quite metronomic, this guy. I think he's one of the best pacemakers. So if you want to run 2:35 for the first kilometre, you go through in 62 seconds, and I reckon he was within a tenth of that. In fact, it's just come up on the screen, 61.9. That is very, very good pacemaking. Cheptegei just moving up a little bit as well. Kejelcha and Barega just 5 metres apart from each other, further back. There they are. And so they were a good second or more, almost 2 seconds down on the leader. That might give us an indication of their intention here. They won't mind at all that the field's getting nicely strung out. No chance of any, well, I hope anyway, no chance of any little slip-ups. Look how well stretched out they are.
Indian file, as we call it. There is Cheptegei just left the picture.
So the first 1,000 metres, pace being set very, very well by Som, and then dropped out 2:35.2. And you know, if you get asked to do 2:35, spot on. So it's Kipkorir who's got to try and take it on. I wasn't sure how much further Som would get than the 1,000 metres, but he did his job very well. So it's just dropped a little bit the pace, but they're still very, very well stretched out. Kejelcha a little bit closer, Barega not too far away from him. It's Gebrhiwet really and Chalimo, the two big names who are closest to the pace at the front. So they look like they're ready for this. Chalimo runs for the US, of course, and done so well in the major championships in 16 and 17. There's Cheptegei. I was talking about, you know, it's such a big year in terms of you know, world championships, but we've had championships as well. We've got the world championships really late in the year, in late September and into October. So you've got a situation where you're planning your year really carefully. You have to plan. So of course Kejelcha chose to run those fast indoor races. Then I presume he's probably had a little bit of a break coming in early in the season, but it's a long schlep, as we'd say, from here through to September. 2,000 metres, 5:13, pace just dropped a little bit, still not too far off 13-minute pace though, and but what it did mean was that nobody's able to keep the pace going to 3,000 metres. Kipkorir having to pick up a little bit early. He only got them to about 2,400 metres, and so Gebrhiwet now finds himself in the lead. So it's Gebrhiwet just slowing now. You can see all the field bunched up. The 65 and almost a 66-second lap there. So after that initial stretching out with a good fast early pace, the big names sat off it. Kejelcha and Barega Cheptegei, it was Chelimo and Gebrhiwet who were right at the front, but they've had to slow now. So now we're back into, I think, the sort of race we were probably expecting. That nobody, I don't think anyone really wants to run, 12:50 at this stage of the season. But winning is so important here. So Barega's not liking the fact it's gone too slow. He knows the danger that Kejelcha possesses in terms of his great pace. So Barega, early for me, very early, decides to get things moving again after that slow lap.
Yeah, there's only so much that people like Barega can take, and a little bit of impatience you sense there from him, and just taking matters into his own hands. And there, Kejelcha just covering the move, as you would expect, just slipping into the slipstream in second place. But it's steady, isn't it? It's a steady tempo. It's an early season type of tempo, with this season so long.
Well, at 2:41k there, it's still pretty good pace. That's not bad pace at all. And given that we expect it to be fast at the end, so they're still going to be heading for low 13 minutes, I presume. I'm interested in the fact that this is a bit of a rehearsal really for what when you start ending major championships. How does Barega beat Kejelcha? How does he, or how do any of them contend with his ability to run? He's got such good 1500-meter mile pace now. They're going to be thinking he's in that Mo Farah ilk, because if he's around in the last 600-700 meters, it'll be really hard to hold off. So is this his first little rehearsal, if you like, for what maybe to come later in the year? Would this be a tactic for him? He's no slouch, Barega, but I don't think he quite possesses the same sort of pace as Kejelcha. But at the moment, a little bit of a change at the front of the 5,000 meters, and it's the World Cross Country champion Cheptegei who's decided to push things on a little bit. Barega was at the front, wasn't really doing too much. Gebrhiwet there, Belew just moving again around the outside, trying to get back into what was a decent position he was in. Another 2:42, that's the slowest kilometre of the race, through 4k. And now we're going to see things move on a little bit as Kimeli, the youngster, tries to push on. Gebrhiwet is right there, Cheptegei. And then a little bit further back, Kejelcha just watching and waiting, keeping himself clear of any bother, clear of any trouble. Barega's just on his inside, boxed a little bit at this point. As they come round with 2 laps to go. That's a 62.8, and surely it's got to start winding up.
Well, it's a question of who will run out of patience. We've already seen Barega take a chance at the front. Kejelcha just exactly where he wants to be, and for me his finishing speed has improved since his move to the United States, working with Alberto Salazar, really much improved. But all the main protagonists still in there. Gebrhiwet, we can see, centre of picture.
Kejelcha just looks through, tries to look over his shoulder. Barega's tucked right in behind him, but he's wearing, and it's gone. Was that Barega who went? Not quite sure who it was. No, it wasn't Barega. We'll just try and check who that was who fell. It might have been. Anyway, Kejelcha was looking, it wasn't Barega. Barega's still tucked in there behind him, but they're coming around now. No one's really making the big moves, and Gebrhiwet just trying to hold the curb there. Kejelcha watching and waiting, and Gebrhiwet just slips past him. And then Kejelcha, then Barega. Belew still in there with a chance as well, a 62. They still haven't really got firing here. 6 or 7 men in with a decent chance. Cheptegei trying to hang in there at the back of this group as they start to motor. Gebrhiwet trying to hold the curb with Kejelcha making his big move around the outside. Barega trying to follow. Belew on the inside. And Gebrhiwet has to give way. Barega's giving chase, trying to hang on to the long stride of Kejelcha. 200 metres to go. A little look on his inside. The danger is still there. The 2 big men pulling away. Has Barega got enough to try and haul him in? Kejelcha flat out now. Into the home straight, just 1.5 meters between them. Barega trying to attack on the outside. Belew finishing quickly for 3rd, but Kejelcha starts to pull away. Kejelcha's going to take the win. Kejelcha wins. Barega 2nd. Gebrhiwet came back for 3rd, just I think in the end. A world-leading time of 13 minutes and 4. A few seconds, half a dozen seconds quicker than Kejelcha ran in the United States a couple of weeks ago. Well, a 53 last lap, and I think if Barega didn't already know, he's quick, he's good, but he's not as quick as Kejelcha, and what he certainly can't do is give Kejelcha the lead out. Let him go. He likes a nice 300-meter lead out in front. Once he gets those long legs going, it's really hard to reel him back in. So Barega's found out his first lesson of 2019. Don't give him a 2-meter head start.
Absolutely right. Kejelcha looking...